Let me now bring on board Mr. Kishore Biyani, Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Future Group. Future Group is India's largest listed retailer. Kishore, morning. Thank you for joining us. Now that FDI and retail has been approved in principle, what kind of inflows do you expect in the retail sector via the FDI route?
I think if you look at a long-term perspective, IKEA has announced a plan of more than $2 billion. If you look at anybody coming in or acquiring somebody or doing a transaction over a period of 10 years, this is not a big amount in a sense, because in retail you have to invest money in quite a few things, from real estate to building up your infrastructure to the back end to building up your stores. So it is an investment, and everybody who comes to India looks at a long-term view. You can't come with a retail with a very short-term view. It has to be 10-year, 20, 30-year perspective, and in that you have to bring in money.
Mr. Biyani, hi, morning. A large population per store is not really converting into sales. What's your view on that?
I think people are spending, not that, but their ability to spend restricts up to a particular amount, and that is rising, but not rising at the pace at which one can get square foot productivity. And secondly, the prices of the product also has to go up to get your per square foot spend going up. We don't see prices going up. We don't see prices on electronics going up. We don't see prices on clothing also, except 2 years ago the prices of clothing went up. Food prices have been okay. They have not been rising to a phenomenal level that your per square foot sales goes up. So I think it's a gradual process, and we are still lower in terms of prices on every product compared to any other place in the world. So your per square foot productivity, they definitely can't be to the extent of what international retailers do get.
So Kishore, do you see prices coming down now with increased competition, because more competition means margins will be under pressure?
I think competition is always going to be there. It exists today also. There are retailers I think India is a nation of dukandars. We have competition everywhere, and nobody can get away with charging higher price on commodities. I think it's the value-added products which will create the differentiation, and customers are too smart. So I think when you get into scale, prices definitely can be brought down. I think we all need scale to bring the prices down.
Right. So if you look at margins, Mr. Biyani, for Indian retailers, they are the lowest in Asia, and the profitability as well is pretty low. When will these reach levels achieved by retailers in the rest of Asia?
And I think most of the retailers in India who exist are multi-format retailers. So they are operating, like a company like us is operating fashion store, departmental stores, hypermarkets, supermarkets, convenience store. I think if you look at each and every category or each and every format of ours, a fashion format, I think it's quite profitable. If you look at our departmental store format, it's maturing, and probably it will show profitability more than the fashion format. If you look at our hypermarket, we have an interesting fashion mix, and that brings in the gross margin which probably no other hypermarket retailer gets in. Our convenience store model is moving towards profitability. Our electronic store model, yes, definitely, it can't be profitable very, very soon, but we are reaching to a level wherein we are now getting break-evens. Home store, our model, we are looking at making it more productive and reducing the size so that it can become profitable much, much earlier. And it has the potential to be very, very profitable. I think retailing as a business, you need scale, you need size, you need a certain amount of productivity, certain sizing of the stores. I think we all retailers have learned it the hard way, and we are getting to the exact requisite thing which we want, and everybody is working towards that. And I believe any business, it takes a little while for the consumers to adjust, the retailers to adjust, and we all have made errors and getting into too many formats at the same time. I think, but a lot of realization has come upon, and profitability is the key for everyone now.
So Kishore, what do you think foreign retailers can bring to Indian companies in terms of best practices?
I think any global retailer who would come in will look at a very long-term view of the country in terms of number of the population, the economic activity, the GDP, the income levels, and they are here in for a long haul. Maybe when we have met global retailers, they look at India as a country and with a vision of 20 years, 30 years. And when you look at India from 20-year lenses, I think the market looks very, very different. And the potential in the market looks very, very different. So I think what has to be developed is perseverance towards the business, commitment towards the business, scale which will emerge once you start working on it. So I think they have done it all in many countries. They understand how a country or an emerging economy works. I think they are here to look at a market in a much wider perspective. And I think that's what they bring in first. Secondly, they bring in capital. Third, they bring in resources. Fourth, they bring in best practices of the global arena. And I think that combination of all things together is what makes them effective.